This is Digester from Ghoul, and you're listening to Thunder Underground. Go forth and kill!
Welcome to episode 205 of the Thunder Underground podcast. Trent and Jason here, and we've got a jam-packed episode this week.
Yes, we do.
This is only the second time we've ever done a double, whatever you want to call it, double interview.
Double up, double dip.
Yeah, because we've had a lot.
Not a double doink like that poor bastard the other day. I bet he had a long ride home. But anyways.
Chris Collinsworth now made a new pop culture phrase, double doink.
It's the second one. His first one is, now here's a guy.
No, that's John Madden.
Oh, okay. See, that tells you how much I watch football anymore.
Right.
Send all your hate mail to Trent Shane Halls.
My email address is jasonpaulwood1976 at gmail.com.
You got the wrong one, but
that's an old one, yeah. But what we've got is 2 interviews lined up. And a couple songs as well.
Yes.
We've got interviews with Digester from Ghoul, as well as 3 of the members of Child Bite.
Yes.
Child Bite has been on this podcast before. They've made their return, and we're very happy about that.
Totally.
Before we get into all that great stuff, we are sponsored by DEB Concerts, based here in Tulsa, continually bringing in great acts to the Ideal Ballroom in Tulsa from the 80s and 90s heyday of hard rock and heavy metal, and that will continue this February with Saxon.
Yes, February 13th at the Ideal Ballroom.
The Wheels of Steel will roll into Tulsa once again.
And how amazing that will be.
It will be amazing because, first off, their album Thunderbolt that came out in 2018 was amazing.
Yes.
It made our top 18. Go listen to that. Episode 203.
It made my personal number 2 record of the year.
That's right.
And it would have been number 1 hadn't Judas Priest not released one motherfucker of an album.
That's right. Speaking of that, both them toured together last year, and we had Biff Byford.
Yes, we did.
On this podcast.
Yes.
So go back and check that out as well. But in the meantime, get your ass on Facebook and hit up Down for 5 or Mudflux, because these 2 bands are opening up that show.
Yes.
And they've got tickets. You buy them from them, you save a few bucks. You also help them out as well. You can also buy these tickets directly through Ticketfly. No, hold it. Sorry. Scratch that, through Stubwire.
Okay.
There's too many of those things.
There's your Ticketfly, Stubwire, Ticket Fuck. I don't know. Fuck them all.
Right.
Just get it through Down for 5 or Mudflux.
That's right.
Because, you know, the more tickets they sell, the better it looks for them and for the city. So just do that. And
also, like I said, you save a couple bucks, but even if you're coming in from out of town, you can still get them from them. That's the joy of PayPal or Facebook Messenger payments. All that stuff makes this easy. So make it happen.
You are correct.
Eddie Trunk will be hosting this show as always. And you need to be there. And then speaking of DEB Concerts, they are also sponsoring a stage at Rocklahoma.
Yes, they are.
And B processing stage at Rocklahoma. It is the former Retrospect stage. For those of you who've been out there before, it's one of the 3 main stages. Inside the gates, there's the main stage and the 2 side stages. So you will hear more about that probably next week, because supposedly the lineup will be announced this coming Monday.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Monday is the lineup announcement. And, I mean, you know, anybody that's interested, that's remotely into this, their phone will probably break on Monday with all the posts and all of this and all of that going on. You know, when the lineup is announced, people bitching, people loving it, whatever. So that's Monday, and you know you're going to hear from us about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but anyways, yes, that's going to be a great stage to check out. And, you know, Doug's got some great things planned, so it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, he's promised tons of bands from the Oklahoma area as well as the Midwest.
Yes.
And that will be going all day this year from noon till, I assume, when the venue shuts down late at night.
Hold on to your butts.
Definitely. All right, so coming up, we've got a bunch of... Do we want to play a song before we talk about this other stuff?
I think so. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's just jump into some music here. We're going to play a band out of North Carolina called Top Dead Center. This song is called Lightning. Lightning from Top Dead Center. That's a band out of North Carolina. You can find that song as well as a couple other songs on their Reverb Nation.
Yes.
Look them up and follow them. They are playing, actually, if you're in the North Carolina area, they're playing Charlotte on January 20th, opening up for Bubbleflex.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Who we've had on this podcast before as well.
Yes, we have. Top Dead Center, this was a great song. Guitar solos out the fucking yin yang.
Yeah.
Shout out to Judah. Just a great vibe from the beginning, riffage, all that shit.
Yeah. So get on Facebook, Reverb Nation, everywhere. Follow these guys. Give them a like. Check out their other songs. Do yourself a service, as we like to say.
That's right.
All right. So speaking of live shows, there's quite a bit going on here in the next
There is.
couple weeks in our area. So we just figured we would give a shout out to some of these shows and some of these bands, because a lot of these bands have been on this podcast. If not, we've played them, that kind of thing. But tonight, there are actually a couple shows going on. We've got Blind Oath with She the Serpent, Constant Peril, and Death Crown out at Chimera.
Okay.
And then
That'll be a barn burner right there.
that is, you've got all kinds
Faces will be melted.
of heavy stuff going on there.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, if you want your stuff a little bit more laid back, it's heavy in its own way. But we've got Jeremiah Kirby doing his CD release show. Sprout the Anti-Hero,
Nice.
a great friend of this podcast, will be on that show as well, along with Timbo, Kelly, and Alan Doyle. And that's at the Blackbird on Pearl.
Okay.
All right, so what do we got next? Friday night.
Yes, January 11th.
Out at the Shrine, A-Rock will be making their Tulsa debut.
Okay.
It might be their live debut, actually.
I think it is. It's Josh and JC from Reliance Code.
Right.
And I don't know if we ever went over that whole Reliance Code thing, but we probably did. I just forgot. But Reliance Code, band we loved, and, we loved from the beginning. They ceased to be, and so out of the ashes of that come A-Rock.
Yeah, and like you said, two of the members of Reliance Code, as
Yes.
well as some of their buddies, they've formed this band. They're playing Friday night in Tulsa at the Shrine, and they're actually bringing in 4 other bands as well. And I'm pretty sure all 4 bands are from out of town.
Okay.
So this is a great bill to get out there and check out some bands you probably haven't seen before. The Alive, King Caravan, Rival Empire, and Creatures of the Earth.
Okay.
And then, the same night, our buddies in Let's Slip the Dogs are playing Friday night at Ed's Hurricane Lounge.
Yeah.
And the event made it sound like it's them all night long.
Well, they
they're
definitely
playing-
could fill a whole
Yeah.
night. That's for sure.
They're playing their original stuff. They're playing some covers. And these guys, if you're not familiar with them, are insanely talented musicians.
Yes.
And their covers, I assume, will be a wide variety of all kinds of stuff, because you can hear in their music influences that range all over the place, as you heard in the podcast when they were on here a few months ago.
Yes.
Coming up after that, we got a big one. Well, Metallica's coming somewhere in there, but we don't need to mention that. You all know that.
Yeah, that's, we're getting into the real shit here.
Yeah. But a big show next weekend, January 19th, Saturday night at the Shrine in Tulsa, Oklahoma, is the Music to Mend Mikey benefit.
Yes.
Miguel Hernandez, Mikey, the drummer from Doxy, had an accident, lost one of his hands, and so they're putting on this great benefit. There's going to be, raffles, auctions, all kinds of great stuff. $5 at the door, but that's considered a minimum donation. So if you got a little bit more you want to throw in, that is greatly appreciated as well.
And you can't go wrong for $5.
Yeah.
So you need to give a little more. The music starts at 4. So it's you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. Garrett Heck, the Paul Benjamin Band, Sweatin' Bullets, Timbo Kelly, Smoochie Wallace, Seth Lee Jones, Brujo Roots, and TFM. So come on.
That's a wide range of styles there. Some great stuff there. If you've never seen Garrett Heck, get your ass out there. If you've never seen Paul Benjamin Band,
yeah, and I
All
saw
these bands.
some. I think it was the. I could be wrong here because you know how the social media feed of shit, just jumbles all together sometimes. But I think is the church, Bigfoot Studios, something. I follow on Instagram, and they were showing Garrett Heck recording. So if he's recording something, I can't fucking wait to hear it.
Yeah.
That's my main point, what I'm trying to get to here.
Okay. Yeah, I'd seen that on his page. Him talking about that recently.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But all right, what do we got? January 25th, the next weekend. I think that's the Friday night at the Vanguard. The Normandies, Follow the Buzzards, The Big News, and When the Clock Strikes.
Nice.
Last time we saw the Normandies was at the Vanguard.
Well,
when they were part of the Wither Farewell show.
Probably see him again, too.
Yeah, they are fantastic.
Yes.
Along with these other bands. And speaking of, the Normandies will be in Oklahoma City the next night with The Big News at 89th Street.
89th Street. Cool.
So, moving into February, Halata Fest, the 3rd edition.
Yes, the 3rd annual Halata Fest.
Yes. February 9th, Saturday night at the Shrine, Steve Murdoch has put together another fantastic bill.
Yes, he has.
And I'm pretty sure, Fist of Rage, I think, is the only band on this bill that has played one of the other Halata Fests.
Okay.
Which, I could be wrong, but I think that's right. Which is really cool. Just keep bringing in new lineups, celebrating the life of John Halata.
That's right.
Music. It's an amazing night. This thing, like I said, Fist of Rage, 13X. If you haven't heard them, check them out. They are great. Arjuna, Dixie Wrecked, out of Tulsa, Spook, Razorwire Halo, Killing Katie, The Almighty Murderous Mary.
Yes.
And Zen Hipster.
Did you say Arjuna?
Yeah, I did.
God, I just looked right at it. I'm out of it.
So, Zen Hipster's there.
Yes.
There you go.
Zen Hipster's there. We are playing Halata Fest. Very honored to be doing so. We're rehearsing right now, so it's great shit.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be a good night.
We fucking got like half of a 3/4 of a new song going.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, good stuff.
First new song in how long?
A long goddamn time.
Right.
But we did. Last night was the first rehearsal back. We did that. We kind of fucked around with that for a little bit. Took a break to go watch the Orange Cheeto speak on TV. And then we went back and just did our usual set, and it turned out good. So
cool.
That was that.
Yeah.
But we're looking forward to Halata Fest. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, definitely.
For a great cause.
Of course. Then we've got, I wrote down Saxon. We already mentioned that.
Yes.
February 13th.
Yes.
We've got Mudflux and A-Rock once again in Tulsa at Badass Renee's on February 16th.
Nice. See, I didn't know about that one. You slipped that one in on me.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, so you got a chance to see Mudflux there twice in a week. You got 2 chances to see A-Rock here in Tulsa.
Okay.
I know they're playing Heroes in Fort Smith. I should have wrote this down. I believe it is next weekend, like the 25th.
Nice.
So yeah, just get on their Facebook page and follow them so you're up to date on any of these bands.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's tons of stuff going, but those are kind of the ones here in the next 2 or 3 weeks of, bands in our area that we wanted to give a shout out to.
Okay.
We didn't plan this out here. I kind of got stuff written down, but
hey, man,
should we do one of the interviews?
We should do one of the interviews.
Yeah. Spread this thing out.
Not to worry. Jason's here.
That's right.
Oh, I just spoke in the third person. That officially designates me as a huge douchebag. Fuck me. I did it. I can't believe it.
No.
Okay, look. I'm here. All is good. We're going to do one of these interviews right now.
Okay. Let's do the Digester one first.
Let's do it. which is crazy because we're still alive to talk about it.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you'll understand what we're talking about towards the end of the interview.
Yeah.
But somehow we were brought back to life.
All right, here you go. This is Digester from Ghoul. Post about clearing the streets of acoustic guitars in Austin, like how successful were you guys in that?
Well, every time we go to Austin, the best part of it is to, stomp on the skulls of all of the failed musicians. This was no exception. It was wonderful. And, it's just the biggest graveyard for musicians in the country. And it's just, I can't get enough of it.
Well, I was going to say, there's got to be a lot of failed musicians in Austin.
Oh yeah, most of
busy.
them. Yes. That's what they make Lone Star beer out of. It's the tears of failed musicians.
Yes.
So, what do you look for in other cities that don't have the plethora of failed musicians? Is there something new in every city you're searching for?
We just want a small group of willing victims, and that's good enough for us to get us to the next town. Just like 10 or 15 plump ones that we can decapitate, suck the blood out of, and devour, and then we're good until the next show.
Well, you guys recently came out with this Nazi Smasher song.
Yes.
And it was part of the worldwide organization of Metalheads Against Nazis too. Like, how did you guys become involved with that?
I think that guy just asked us if we would want to be part of it, and we just happened to have this song that kind of fit the bill, so we said yes, and it was only maybe a couple of weeks since between the time that we said yes and the time it came out, so it was very quick.
Okay. So it was a song you guys already had?
Yeah, it was something that we had in the pipe already.
Okay. So what's the difference between smashing a Nazi and a normal person?
It's just a tiny bit more fun.
Okay.
It feels a little better.
It feels a little better, yes.
Nice.
It makes us feel like we're doing a little bit of good in the world, which we don't really feel that often. So,
Mostly bad.
Yes, mostly bad. Mostly we spend our time burning down orphanages and stuff like that. So if we can just do a little bit of good, I feel like it's a little bit of karmic relief.
There you go.
Well, last night you guys played in Dallas, and the show was outside. Does that bother you guys? But as Ghoul, probably not.
Last night the show was outside, and it was about 31 degrees or so. And in the beginning of the night, it was raining, and it ended up being a great show, but it was horrible. The weather was not on our side last night. But the crowd was great, and they were moshing the whole time and everything. I guess probably to keep warm. It really looked like one of those Slurpee machines, just ice circling.
Is that hard on your voice as a vocalist?
No, it's not so bad. Luckily, I have a hood on, so it stays pretty warm in there.
Right.
Yeah, but it was hard on my hands. They were basically blocks of ice for most of the set.
Well, speaking of new music with the Nazi Smasher song and everything, do you guys have a new album in the works at all?
Yeah, it's coming slowly, but I think 2019 is going to have a lot of writing because we don't have anything planned right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So writing, bring new offering to the masses.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah, something new. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, in the Lunatics video, I liked how all the fans were dressed as you guys, and even little kids. That's got to feel like you're reaching people. You're making a difference.
Yeah. Oh, sure. We're again. We don't do a lot of good in the world, and that's an example of us doing evil. We are corrupting the minds of tiny children, who we hope will just come to the show so we can kill and eat them. Quite honestly.
There's lots of kids in here
with
Bon Jovi songs.
I know. Maybe we should slip a couple of Ghoul songs into the mix.
We won't be too much long on this interview. We can get back into it.
Well, speaking of writing, how do you guys do that? Does everybody in the band write together, or do you guys write separately, bring it together? Chief songwriter, anything like that?
Generally, we write things separately. I'm the chief songwriter, but everybody writes songs. Everyone who plays a string instrument writes songs. And then we will come together and kind of work on them, hone them a little, knock off all the rough edges together as a group. But basically, the songs come separately, and then they're kind of refined.
Oh yeah. Well, we saw on Instagram you were reading the Roger Merritt book. Did you learn to read enough in time to soak most of it in?
I read I could read the first couple of pages, but then I just my brain started hurting. I'm not used to that kind of sustained reading.
I'm not either, so it's okay. I feel you.
Yeah, but it was more depressing than I thought it would be.
Yes.
Right. Okay. You should read the D.D. Ramone book. It's like that, too.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
You'll really want to kill yourself after that one.
Yes, Roger Merritt's family life did not seem like it was really a walk in the park.
I own the book, but I have not started reading it yet. So. But yeah, I noticed in one of your guys' videos, I don't know if it was you or the other guitarist that had a Night Demon sticker on the guitar.
It might be.
Right?
It might be me
Okay.
because I think I'm the only one with stickers on his guitar. Yeah.
So we've had those guys on, and I know you've toured with them,
Right?
And they're pals of ours. Any good things or bad things to say
About the Night Demon.
about the Night Demon?
They were very fun to tour with, guys, and I'm not sure that they're so much a band as some kind of drug front. I don't know. I think the music might be tertiary at best.
That's not the first time we've heard something like that.
No, but they are great guys. Really fun to tour with, really easy to get along with guys. And great band. Like, just so catchy. It's cool that people are still writing music like that.
That's all right.
That's
Right.
catchy.
Don't smash their heads.
Right. Right.
Well, you guys have been doing this for quite a while. Are there any other bands that throughout the years you've toured with that you become big fans of? Or?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. I really liked when we first started out. I really liked Engorged and Funerat, some of the other bands that we were on a label with, and recently, what would be a good band? I always have a trouble answering this question, but. Black Dahlia Murder. Yes, all of the bands that we're on tour with right now are really floating the old boat. Well, Night Demon is actually a good example of one of those bands that I hadn't heard of before, but they're really great. But yeah.
What are your thoughts on Impelled?
I haven't heard of them. Who are they?
Band.
Impaled.
Yeah.
Are they like exhumed, sort of?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't care for that.
Okay. All right, man. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and I'm sorry to say that I'm going to have to kill you both now.
Well, will you let us upload this first so people can hear it? And
Sure, yeah, of course. I will do you that courtesy, but sorry that this is the last show. It's over.
The last episode.
You might want to call your families or whoever you need to.
We just had our 200th episode, so that's a good milestone to end upon.
Perfect, yeah, perfect. It's working out great for everyone.
Right.
Thank you.
There you go. Digester from Ghoul. Big thank you to Liz from Earsplit PR.
Definitely.
And of course from Digester to, I guess, sparing our lives.
Yes. I mean, we are scum. We are nothing.
That is right.
And he could have killed us. He did kill us, but somehow the power of rock brought us back to life.
That's right.
And, that just goes to show you, rock and roll is a religion. God gave rock and roll to you. Too?
Yeah.
Anyways, Trent, I'm here to tell you that this was a great interview. Ghoul is a kick-ass band. They've got their menacing look. Digester. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Their sound it's straight up fucking thrash. I mean, it's kind of maybe some skate thrash type kind of shit. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw him open up for, it was at the show with the Black Dahlia Murder.
Yes.
And Mighty Havoc. And they put on a great show. So if they're ever in your area, they tour a lot. Go check them out. They've got tons of music out there. They've been around quite a while. They're starting to pick up steam, I've noticed, over the past couple years. So look them up.
And there's also a lot of cool shit on YouTube.
Yeah. With
Ghoul. I mean, like whole entire like pro shot shows at like a festival in Europe. A lot of videos. There's so much content on YouTube if you are a Ghoul fan. So check it out.
Right. All right. Well, let's jump into some more music.
Let's do this.
All right. We've mentioned Mudflux here a couple times already because they are opening up for Saxon in Tulsa on the 13th. And they're playing at Badass Renee's on the 16th. We've been meaning to play these guys for quite a while here on the podcast.
Tulsa band. We're happy to play them. We met them. Great guys and gal. So, I mean, you know, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, this song is called All I Am I.
No
All I Am I from Mudflux. Like we mentioned, out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Very glad to finally get them here on the podcast. Like I said, they're opening up for Saxon the 13th of February. They'll be at Badass Renee's the 16th of February. Just a great metal band here in Tulsa, and we're glad there's bands like this, that just have that sound that's just steeped in heavy metal, basically.
Yes, definitely.
They've shot up here in this area, in the past year or so. I know they did a big tour through the Midwest this past fall with Driver.
Yeah, they're killing it. They're putting in the work.
Yeah, they've got an EP out, 4 tracks. You just heard one of them. There's 3 more on there to check out. So look them up and follow them. All right. We should talk about the We Are Tulsa music thing.
Yes, let's do this.
Just to throw this in, because Mudflux, along with Driver, like I just mentioned, I mentioned some bands earlier, Fist of Rage, Dixie Wreck, that are nominated for awards. Sprout. We're nominated for one. The category is Digital Media Outlet of the Year. It's number 11 on the list. So if you go to Tulsa Music Awards and then just run down there to number 11 and click Thunder Underground, we would appreciate it. It would
definitely
be a big thrill to us that you cared enough to do that.
We'll be your best friends forever.
That's right.
And ever. But stick around and, vote for some other acts. Vote for what you're passionate about.
That's right.
Yeah,
TulsaMusicAwards.com. The voting runs through January 31st. The actual event itself is March 9th at the Ideal Ballroom. And it will feature performances from Skytown, the Normandies, Screaming Red Mutiny, and who am I forgetting? Crap.
It's okay. You know what? Because I can't remember either.
Okay. It's someone we love. I know that much.
We dropped the ball on that one, didn't we?
I had it written down in the last outline, just not this one for some reason.
We're not perfect, so.
Yeah. We'll mention it next time.
But, I will say something.
Okay.
We're going to these awards. I think me and Mel are going to wear the Dumb and Dumber tuxedos.
Were you going to actually, go out and buy them?
Orange and blue, top hats, canes, ruffled shirts. It's going to happen.
So, are you being serious, or are you just,
I'm being
this
dead
out
serious.
Okay.
We looked it up.
All right.
I am not serious at all.
Fuck. That would have been amazing.
I'm just saying somebody needs to do it, but not me.
Okay. But yeah, like you said, we will be there, and you can be there too.
Yes.
Just go to that website, like I said, Tulsa Music Awards, click on the link to buy tickets. You can buy them right now up till the event. This thing will probably sell out, people, because there are a lot of bands nominated. So just the bands and the nominees are taking up a chunk of the space. So get out there, support Tulsa music, area music. There's bands from outside the area. There's an award for, should have wrote that down too, the award for the out-of-town band that comes here a lot, But anyway.
Man, you are just slipping.
You're dropping the ball too, because you're not belling me out.
Well, I don't usually am up on that.
Right.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
All right, so it's time for another interview.
I think it is.
I think so. So we talked to Childbite. This one's actually been about a month and a half, or a little more than a month and a half now, because it was November 20th, 21st. We went out.
It was right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was like the Monday before Thanksgiving. We went out to 89th Street in Oklahoma City for Phil H. Anselmo and the Illegals.
Yes.
And he had Childbite on tour with him. We got out there, got a chance to connect with them once again. About a year, I guess it was the summer of 2017. They were on tour with Superjoint and Battlecross.
Yeah.
And that was actually a time where we talked to Jimmy Bauer from Superjoint.
Yes.
We talked to Gumby from Battlecross. And we talked to 3 of the members of Childbite.
That's right.
Well, now we've got 3 of them again, but we've got a little bit different because they've got a new member.
Yes.
And they had a touring fill-in member as well.
Yes.
But Sean, the bass player, was on the podcast last time, and he is here again. We've also got Jeremy, the new guitarist, and we've got Ryan Clancy, Sean's brother, who is filling in on the drums as well. Fantastic drummer.
That was kind of my thing, is we didn't really talk about that show or talk about Child Bite, right?
Well, that's true, because we were kind of thinking we would.
We wanted to save it for this.
And then here we go. It's been almost 2 months at this point.
Well, and it was just, and that's like, that's the good thing, the cool thing about doing this is, we were lucky enough to have a lot of stuff scheduled, so we had interviews stacked.
Yeah.
So we're just getting them all out now and letting everybody hear them. But I can tell you, one of the, I love Child Bite. Anytime they're playing live around here, I mean, I can't not see them. It was a Monday night or whatever. I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Go to Oklahoma City.
We've seen him 3 or 4 times now, and never seen him in our own town.
Yes.
That's how much we love
yes.
him.
Yeah. Exactly.
They've always been opening for other bands we love as well.
That's right. And they're manic, they're experimental, but at the same time, they're tight and they're heavy, and it's just, it's so hard to explain, and I think they would probably prefer it that way.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, to have these guys on again and to get to talk to them, just killer, totally killer.
Yeah. Sean Knight and Sean Clancy are, the core of this band that have been there the whole time. They've been around quite a while now. Actually, I think we mentioned it on the episode where we talked about the illegal show.
Yeah.
But Sean Knight got up and sang I'm Broken with Phil.
Yes, that's right.
And he had actually been doing that throughout the tour.
Uh-huh.
I was talking to him afterward and just, was asking him about it.
Yeah. Since
he wasn't on this interview. But he mentioned that, Phil kind of just mentioned that as a song. Hey, you want to come do this with me? Since it had that verse, that style of verse that you could trade off and on,
Yeah, the kind of the call and response deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Phil's still killing it. We talked about that, but Sean Knight pulled this shit off excellently. If you're going to get on stage with a member of Pantera and sing a Pantera song, you better do it right. And
he did.
He does.
He definitely did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and Mr. Knight had to man the merch booth because, they were going Spartan on this tour. They were helping out the illegals. So.
Yeah, this is a DIY band if there ever was.
Oh, totally.
In every sense, he does posters, not just for his band, for other bands.
And that was just another intriguing part of everything that Sean Clancy was telling us. Everything that they're handling on this tour and how they usually do it. And it's just something that a lot of bands really need to take note and take some advice from.
Right. Well, there's a little interference with the music going on in the venue.
Yeah.
Because we were outside, but close to the wall. But anyway, you can hear enough to bear through this thing.
That's how it goes,
Yeah.
We're not the Josta show, okay?
Right.
We're not the Joe Rogan podcast, okay?
That's right.
We're working our way up there. So we do it how we can do it, and, we like it that way.
Yeah. Just guerrilla style, right out there in the street.
Goddamn right.
In the middle of the heart of Oklahoma City. I wouldn't really call that area the heart of Oklahoma City, but you know what I mean.
Hey, we've done it in wind. We've done it in rain. We've done it on top of a pile of cinder blocks out in a field behind Diamond Ballroom.
With the member of one of our favorite bands.
Yeah, exactly. I mean...
We've done it in a 2-story RV with a member of KISS.
Yeah, however we got to do it. But, I mean, isn't that something? Like, when I was 16 and I'm listening to No Deliverance on, Deliverance, COC... shitting my brains out because that's one of the coolest songs I've ever heard in my life. If you'd have told me you're going to be in 105-degree heat in an open field, sitting on a big, huge pile of cinder blocks with Mike Dean when you're 42 goddamn years old, that's going to happen, Jason. I would have said, you're crazy. So, I mean, this is whatever we got to do.
That's right. Well, here you go. Sean, Jeremy, and Ryan, Child Bite.
Oh, yeah, man, always. There's always a constant struggle of back and forth of being like, I love being on the road, but also just wanting to go home and chill out,
You're getting home right before Thanksgiving, right? Or is that the last?
Yeah, like, well, there's some talk. There's some talk of the last show tomorrow in Little Rock not happening now, so we might be getting home a day or two earlier than we thought. So, yeah. So, but we still have to go to New Orleans, drop the bus off, and then our van is in New Orleans, and then we got to drive from New Orleans back to Detroit. So, try to make it home for Thanksgiving, or the day before Thanksgiving, actually. So, because my his other band's playing a show in Detroit that night, so we got to get his ass home. He was gonna fly out of Little Rock. But now we're not going to Little Rock, so we got to figure out how to make that happen.
This just happened.
Yes, this is happening within the last hour.
Like Wednesday night?
So, trying to get home by Wednesday night.
Yeah.
To play another show.
What's your other band? You
Steph Chura. It's a singer-songwriter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, as you know, you said earlier, there were 2 other guys the last time.
Yeah.
Talk about getting these guys, primed up and ready, and picked them. Obviously, your brother. So
yeah, I mean, we're lucky to know a bunch of talented drummers. Like, our bench is kind of deep right now.
Yeah.
So we've been lucky to tap a couple different buddies over the last year, so we could keep touring. Jeremy was the first guitar player we asked, and he's been on pretty much full on ever since. We haven't written any fucking songs yet, which we're going to do this winter. It's happening as soon as we get back from this tour. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to fucking write some songs and work on the future of Child Bite. You know what I mean? But yeah, we got lucky with Jeremy, and lucky that we know a bunch of drummers who are willing to help keep the ball rolling for us.
Yeah. I mean, to Child Bite's credit, it's not the typical just riff chugging. There's all kinds of different stuff going on. Was it hard to get on board and keep everything straight, or?
Well, for me, playing guitar, they kind of asked me, and they were about to go on tour to Europe at that time, and they couldn't get me any tabs or show me any riffs or anything, but they sent me some songs. And I've seen them playing around Detroit for a long time, so I knew they were a crazy band, but I never imagined it from the perspective I'm going to learn this music. I always just was I'm going to go see Child Bite play a show, and that was it. There was never a deeper thought. I liked it, but I never thought about riffing it. But then, so I'm they give me the songs, and I'm listening to it, and I'm got my guitar with me and everything. I'm damn, what the fuck is that? I don't even know, if this. I don't think it's the right tuning that I'm doing right now. I don't know what's going on, and so I was kind of freaked out. But then as soon as they kind of they had their old guitar player Brandon, I think Sean worked together and made up a bunch of tabs for me. They were kind of hard to read sometimes, but they were clearly, the ideas were there.
Yeah.
And that helped me. So I had a while they were in Europe at the tail end of that, once I got some tabs, and then a little bit of time where they were taking a short break of jamming, and then we started to jam. I think we played or we practiced a few times, maybe 3 or 4 times, and then played 3 shows with Ben Moore on drums, and then we went on a tour with Superjoint. So then I basically learned how to be in the band at that point. It was a lot of shows.
Little trial by fire.
Yeah.
What about you? You were obviously familiar with the band, but
yeah.
Was the drumming something that you adapted to, or were you from your previous work?
Yeah,
similar?
well, I grew up playing with Sean, so we kind of came up together playing in punk, technical bands, coming up. But I hadn't played. I actually filled in for Child Bite back in 2007.
Okay.
When it was a totally different band, but there was double drummers and all kinds of weird time signatures and stuff. But this time, yeah, it had been a while since I'd played complicated, heavy music, so it was just a lot of headphones and just sitting alone in the basement just going over it. But also it's just coming back and playing with my brother, there's these little things that he does on the bass where it's just oh, I know this change is just coming inherently just because it's the way he does it. He's my favorite bass player to play with.
Right.
So it's great.
Consequently, my favorite drummer.
Right. Well, what did both you guys do previously to this, as far as...
We were in this sort of weird, technical, kind of emo-y punk indie rock band called Rescue, and before that we were in a band called Waffle House for many years together.
Early
2000s. But we hadn't officially played in a band together for probably 10 years. He was doing other stuff, other projects, Silent Years or what. I had basically, when our old band Rescue broke up, I had almost immediately joined Child Bite. And
then I joined every other band.
And then Ryan was in a bunch of other bands, and I, for whatever reason, I just was in Childbite, and that's just what I did, so, yeah.
Did the band Waffle House make enough noise that Waffle House told you to stop using their name?
No, we were still pretty DIY. I mean, we put out a couple CDs and some 7-inches, and we toured, but like house shows, hall shows, basement. We were a lot on the DIY scene, the early 2000s. We probably played 200 or 300 shows, but we didn't really make a splash or anything,
Yeah.
But
a lot of people thought we were a ska band.
yeah, a lot of people thought we were a ska band. We were not a ska band. We were just weird.
Well, what about you? What did you do previously, music-wise?
Well, I've been in a bunch of bands growing up. Started playing music when I was a young kid and all that, and there was like a metal scene in a small town in Michigan where I was. But leading up to Childbite, I've been living in Detroit since 2009, and I even saw them play before that. But around then, I've always been in bands. I played in this other band called Reverend, and I've been doing that for almost 10 years. And that's basically...
They're still around. They're still playing.
Yeah. And we're working on new music, too. And that's like how these guys, I think, probably first met me is because we used to play shows together. And
yeah.
We still have even played shows where we're both... I play 2 sets.
Oh, yeah, we made you double down back in February.
That was my first show.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man. It felt like I had like a big trailer like sitting on my chest or something afterwards.
Well, you mentioned working on a new album.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these guys in the band now, are they going to be involved in the writing process with you and Sean?
Probably not Ryan, but maybe if... we haven't really talked about it. We don't have a permanent drummer right now, so...
Oh, okay.
But definitely Jeremy. We're going to start writing, getting in it. I think what we did a few years back, we were in a similar position. We didn't have a drummer. And we asked a bunch of buddies in Detroit to just jam with us live. So they help us flesh out riffs and help write songs. And then we had another buddy who was from out of town, kind of come in and do the final pieces and actually record the record. So we might do the same thing. So we might have Ryan involved if he wants, and a couple other friends of ours from Detroit, guys who can't commit to the band full time, but hey, you want to get together a weekend, write some songs, whatever. And then we've got a buddy of ours in Milwaukee, this guy Shane, who filled in for us on a couple of tours, that we might have be the drummer on the record, or but we've got other options, so we're just figure it out from there, but maybe just write locally with whoever is willing to hang out and
have you tried to convince him to be full time?
I mean, it's on the table, but he's got his other project with Steph Chura's. Actually, they got a new record coming out, and they're pretty full time. It's so. We just happen to be lucky that they were. So you guys are sort of on a down, kind of waiting for this new record. So he came with us to Australia when we were there earlier this year, and then was able to do this tour for us too. So just kind of got lucky that he was available. So yeah.
Well, going back to bringing in other outside guys or just friends to write. I mean, that's kind of cool. You don't hear that a lot in in this kind of world.
It's interesting. The record that we did that way was fun. It was cool. We ended up working with 4 or 5. You were a part of that writing session too, and it was 3 or 4 other drummers from Detroit helped us sort of flesh out these basic ideas. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then we sent those demos to our other buddy, this guy Moshe, who from Toronto, who played drums, and he would sort of listen to that, and he would use some of the ideas that the other drummers, but mostly he would just kind of use it as a starting point, and then build his own drum beats. And then we got together and for a full week just kind of hammered it all out, and then recorded the stuff over a weekend. And it was cool. It was interesting to have everyone's sort of influence into the initial start of it, and then the final drummer, Moshe, kind of put his final thing on it, and it became this totally weird thing we never, you know what I mean, just kind of didn't know where it was going to go, and then when it was done we were like, oh, that's cool. So I think we're just going to do the same thing.
Nice
for this record.
Do you guys self-produce and everything, or do you bring anybody in?
For the most part. I mean, the record that we did, the last full length we did, we recorded it at Phil's studio, Phil and Selmo at Housecore Records, because he put it out, and we went and recorded down there with him, and he was involved in the recording process and the mixing and stuff like that, and he was a pretty, he had things to say or whatever. That he's a pretty casual producer, but he was involved, So that was the first time we ever worked with someone like allowed that sort of influence into the studio or whatever, But he'd be like, oh, you should do this part or more. He was really working with Sean on the vocals a lot, and then had a lot to say about the final mix. But in the nitty gritty, like drum and bass tracking, guitar tracking, he wasn't necessarily like fingers deep in everything. He was kind of letting us breathe a little bit, and then kind of came in to like sort of mold the final product. You know what I mean? So, but it was cool. It was interesting. But yeah, for the most part, we're self-produced or try to work with whatever engineers they're doing at the time too, if they've got ideas. You know what I mean? Like we're not really.
Coming from him, that's got to be some pretty cool input to have.
Oh, it was cool, man. Yeah, it was great, man. I mean, he was juiced. He was excited, and obviously he was putting out the record, so
What's up? You work with Phil on the record. You guys have toured with Superjoint multiple times. And now the Illegals, like, obviously from a fan's perspective, it's got to be great to work with someone like that. But like, what's it like as far as the relationship you guys have built with him?
Oh man, I mean, he's a super casual punk dude. I mean, it's all about family. It's all about love. You know what I mean? Like he's been really kind to us, and like even this tour alone, like we're on the bus with them, and it's helping us save a ton of money on gas. You know what I mean? And in exchange for bus, like we're just helping with crew.
Yeah.
So we help set up and stuff, but we're also using their gear, so it's like we're going to set up our own gear anyways. You know what I mean? It's really not that much extra work,
right.
And I don't have to drive. So but no, it's been cool, man. He's been really warm and open to us, and it's been awesome, man. He's a pretty punk dude, man. He's pretty raw.
And all the Illegals are super chill and awesome too.
Yeah. Everybody in the band is
everyone's great.
Yeah.
Well, talk about burn offerings. Like, how'd you guys curate the rarities to pull in for that? Was that you and Sean working together?
Yeah, it was basically me and Sean, because we had, like I said, we had those two guys leave the band, and this was sort of like a whatever, sort of like the end, like a wrap up that era of the band.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some demos that we never released. We had some unmixed stuff that never got released, and then we had a bunch of vinyl only tracks, a lot of the cover songs and stuff, a lot of weird stuff that was like not available digitally or not available in CD or anything. We're like, oh, let's just put all that shit together in this crazy 2 CD, like way obtuse package, just too much music, too much everything, and that'll be sort of like the wrap up of that era. And then we start writing with Jeremy and get into the new era. We can just start kind of a new path or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
I ordered that, but I gave him the shirt because obviously I was too big for it.
No.
But I mean, so that like the covers for that, was it for that, or was it?
No, there was
just
all
the same,
stuff that had
stuff
happened.
from
Everything that, except for everything that was on there had happened.
Gotcha.
Was other places.
Yeah.
There was like a 5-part vinyl 7-inch series of splits that we did with a bunch of Detroit bands where we were covering Black Flag, Dead Kennedys, Minor Threat, Misfits, Bad Brains, and those were like these limited 7 inches that we were putting out and giving them away at the shows.
Yeah.
And those were long gone, so we never had the tracks digitally. They were only available on those 7 inches, so we put those on there, and a couple other compilations and tributes that we'd been a part of, and we're like, oh, let's just put it all together. And really, it was it was probably 7 demo songs that we actually really enjoyed the songs, but we never fleshed them out or never you know what I mean? Like one of them we're playing tonight, and we're just, so that stuff was unreleased, but we were like, it's cool, let's put it out. You know what I mean? Like so.
So on the ones you're saying demos, did you guys go in and finish them out, or you just put them on there the way they were?
We had them remixed. We
Remixed,
remixed them. A buddy of mine, Miko, from Detroit, mixed them for us. So we had them. We had rough mixes, and they were fine. But we just like gave them to him to just sort of beef them up and kind of make them feel a little more cohesive, So yeah. So I mean, they're not, they're raw. I mean, they're like, kind of like one take live stuff. But it was in like real studios. You know what I mean? They sound good. It's totally fine. But
was that pretty much everything you guys had, or is there still
that
stuff
was
out
it?
there?
That was it. I'm pretty sure that was everything. From like that specific era of the band. There might be some really early stuff where we even had different members, but it thematically wouldn't have made sense because our band, I don't know if you've gone deep, like we've changed sound over the years. Like, it's like it's always been weird and strange, but it went from like more like avant-garde, like Devo, Brainiac kind of weird synthy strangeness stuff to we just got heavier and heavier. You know what I mean over the years. So so there might be some weird like early jams. Like we used to have a saxophone player in the band. And, Sean used to play keyboards and stuff. So there's been a full evolution of Child Bite. So there might be some weird early stuff, but that wouldn't have made sense. But for the era of like with those two guys, Jeff and Brandon were in the band, and a previous drummer, Ben Moore. That stuff, it just made sense. I don't think we're sitting on anything else. That was the culling. That was
Final purge,
that was
right?
it. Yep. That was now it's time to make a whole bunch of more stupid shit that no one will listen to.
Well, as far as the new stuff, you guys obviously thinking 2019 sometime.
Yeah, hopefully we want to, that would be the goal, to have sometime out in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, there's no studio dates booked. We don't even have a song written yet. So it's like, Well, hopefully we can record February, March, April, somewhere between late winter and spring. We can actually record and, get a full length out, man. Make it happen. But we also talked about doing some split 7-inches and stuff, trying out some, songs, like early versions or phases of songs and stuff. So that might happen sooner. I don't know. Yeah.
You thinking New Orleans again, or are you guys going to do somewhere else?
Yeah, as far as recording?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think we're going to go somewhere else for sure.
Okay.
If we do the album, we've been talking about potentially going to Electrical Audio in Chicago with Steve Albini's studio. And we've been talking about going to... we almost went with Kurt Ballou at some point at his studio, God City. So I don't know. We haven't made any decisions yet. It's just the ideas we're throwing around, and we'll sort of see where the songs go and maybe use that to dictate where we decide to record at, But if we do any like one-off stuff, we'll probably just record locally. We got some buddies that we like and working with, so yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate your time.
No, fuck yeah, man. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
There you go, Sean Clancy from Child Bite, along with Jeremy Juan, the new guitarist for Child Bite, and Ryan Clancy, who was touring as a fill-in drummer while they're searching for a permanent drummer.
There you go.
So if you want to be a drummer for an up-and-coming, a long road to get to where they're at now, but they are on that cusp, I think.
Yes, definitely.
Hit these guys up. I don't know if they've found a drummer yet or not, but you'd be lucky to be in this band, I think.
Yeah, you definitely would.
So big thanks to all them, and a big thanks to Liz from Earsplit PR, as always, for all the amazing help that she does for us.
Exactly.
And thank you to Sean Knight as well, for being accommodating and making this thing happen as well.
Yes.
So like I said, if you have not checked out Child Bite, do it. Their album Burnt Offerings, which came out last year, had a ton of B-sides unreleased, like you heard Sean talk about in that episode. And there's covers as well. And they've got their albums previous to that, and hopefully we'll hear new music from them here in this year, 2019.
That's right.
All right, so we've rambled about all kinds of stuff. I mentioned earlier when we were talking about Ghoul that they were on tour with Havoc and the Black Dahlia Murder.
Okay.
Well, coming up here shortly, should be this next week, we will have an episode with Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a very fun one, and I know that this band has a diehard fan base, so if you're one of those people, check that out. Even if you're not, check it out because it's a fun interview. And then, like we mentioned earlier, Metallica is next week.
That's right.
As well as the Music to Mid Mikey benefit. Next Sunday night, the 20th, is Corrosion and Conformity, Crowbar, Mothership, and Weed Eater at the Diamond Ballroom in Oklahoma City.
I mean...
So, and then...
Jesus Christ.
Around that same time, Jason will be on Metal Tales from the Road, which is an offshoot of the Metal Up Your Podcast. It's a series of Metal Up Your Podcast.
Yes.
Where they interview people that go to shows, and Jason's going to be the guest talking about the Tulsa show.
I sure am.
So that's all that week. So that following week, we'll have our review of the Metallica Tulsa show, as well as a very long interview with Clint Wells, half of Metal Up Your Podcast.
Definitely. We go into all kinds of Metallica stuff, Kiss stuff, general rock stuff, songwriting stuff. If you're getting geeked up for the Metallica show and you just can't get enough content, look up Metal Up Your Podcast. It is the premier Metallica podcast. I mean, these guys have They've been doing it for 2 years. They cover everything. If you can think about it, they've covered it. They've had Ray Burton on. They've had guys that are on Metallica's crew on. They've had Michael Wagner, who worked on, who mixed Master of Puppets, I think.
Yeah.
Michael Alago, who signed him to Elektra. There's so much stuff. If you are a complete Metallica freak like I am, this is the place to go. And, it'll get you ready for the show next week.
Does that cover it, I guess?
I think we went over everything.
Yeah. I feel like there should be something else, but we can save it for another time. Because we mentioned about 14,000 bands in this episode. It's
I know.
cool.
I mean, cool. we went everywhere, and we just kind of,
like Johnny Cash, we've been everywhere, man.
By God, don't make me start naming cities. It was just like stream of consciousness episode.
Yeah.
We just kind of let it all out. We don't know where it went. Some of it might be wrong. We don't give a fuck. Eat a dick.
I'm going to edit it out of order. It's going to be like,
why
what's
not?
that movie with Guy Pearce?
Fucking Memento.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be like a Memento fucking Pulp Fiction podcast where the end's going to be the beginning and, whatever.
Right.
Just take the syringe and hit the red dot right there.
Right. That's a good tagline for this podcast. Take the syringe and hit the red dot.
Dude, hashtag bitch.
Right. Well, speaking of this podcast, we appreciate you listening as always. If this is your first time, we've got 204 previous episodes you can check out. We recently did our best of 2018, where we go over tons of albums from last year. We've had on guys from, let's see, this podcast featured guys from 2 pretty heavy bands.
Mm-hmm.
We've had on guys from Death Angel, Overkill, Battlecross, Allegiant, Miss May I, Seven Dust. Who else is heavy?
He Is Legend.
There you go.
Megadeth.
Yeah.
Crowbar, COC, Spirit Caravan.
Yeah, and then we just go wherever we can, wherever we want, and that includes the stuff from the melodic rock, glam rock era, like Warrant, Great White, Tesla, Dokken. We've had on Gene Simmons and Bruce Kulick. We've had on Shooter Jennings. We've had on all kinds of people, so go look it up.
Yeah, we've had Lenny Lashley from Street Dogs.
There you go.
Ian Moore. I mean, we'll get out there. We don't give a shit.
Yeah. SoundCloud.com/Thunderdash Underground. You can also listen on Google Music, Stitcher, Mixcloud, TuneIn, and of course iTunes. You can listen to us every Monday night on 1027WSNR.com at 7 p.m. Central. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Click, share, like, heart, whatever the fuck it allows you to do.
You can even give us one of the angry emojis. We don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Just react somehow.
As long as you react, it helps us.
Exactly.
All right. Let's get out of here. Until next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.